Everybody, it's Annette. I realize I have not posted a regular length video in I think 6 days. We were obviously celebrating the 4th and dealing with the ridiculous heat last week. It was awful. I did not go to hot yoga last week because by the time I even walked the dogs outside, I was nauseated. It was just like it was so hot. And we've had some thunderstorms and some cooling off. And by cooling off, I mean 89, 91. But today, let's see. Well, my car reads 82 right now. I guess because we had a rain come through here, so it cooled everything down. But it's been blazing hot. I'm going to have to see if we got any rain at home. I've been in an hour of hot yoga class. It was not as hot as it usually is because I think the instructor thought that people would pass out. We probably would have. But I got out of that, and there were some women in the dressing room. I don't know what they were disgruntled about. I really think they need to try the hot yoga because you don't have the strength to get, loud and boisterous. You're just like all zenned out and been bending like a pretzel for an hour and doing all kinds of things that are very, very beneficial and healing to your body. But I did notice I missed a call from the MRI people, so we'll be calling them back. I trust that your 4th was, if you're in the United States, that is, your 4th celebration this weekend was a safe, happy, and blessed one. We did go to some on Friday evening, and then my husband helps with the ones in our local community. On the 4th, he's got the pyro license or certificate or whatever, but he puts that on, so he got to at least see them this year. And then, because he's usually always behind the scenes, and he likes it, he really enjoys it. And it appeared that everybody got along, but there is like a really big difference between, and I don't think I've mentioned this in a video, so if I have, overlooked me, but between 1976 and 2026, a big difference. Locally, it was still fabulous. People had the spirit, the encouragement, the patriotism, and everything that you normally see during something that big. And it was awesome. Around the rest of the country, I don't know. I barely keep up with that anymore because everything's gone kind of sideways, and I don't want to. I'm not bringing that up into this space. This is a happy space, so let's just leave it at that. But the positives were that people had a good time. People were overall nice to one another. Nobody at any of the events that I had gone to or any of the places I went during the weekend, nobody was ridiculous. So maybe that's one thing about living in a smaller town. I don't know. It's just everybody kind of, for the most part, obviously there are exceptions. We're not crime free. We're not altercation free or anything like that by any means. But it just seems like when you're in a smaller community, you have some of that peace. So it was nice. And a couple things noteworthy and local newsworthy, not national news, because again, we're not going to go there. It's a hot mess. Locally, yesterday learned that our fiberglass plant is closing down after I don't know how many decades it's been there. About everybody, myself included, has worked there at one time or another. And from what I read, 500 people are going to be out of work. So that's not a good thing, especially again in smaller communities. So I don't know how that's going to roll, where those people are going to find work. It's getting harder and harder to find work, anything that's worth anything. We ourselves are going through, we're going to be combining our organization with another organization. It's not a buyout, we're just merging together. And even that has a lot of uncertainties, and people are understandably concerned and stressed, and new policies, new things, so that two big organizations can be consistent across the board. So what do I do with that? I just updated my resume. I'm not looking for anything, but I updated it and updated my LinkedIn, and will also update my Indeed, just to make myself noticeable out there and let people see the skill sets I've developed in the role that I'm in, and I've been in for 3 years. So I'm just not really worrying about it right now. I'm going to do the best I can do. That's all I can do. I had enough stress and anxiety when I first found out, because normally when you hear that, you're like, oh, holy crap, this is going to go wrong. But because they have their own dedicated areas that they cover, and then we have our own dedicated areas that we cover, hoping and trying to stay positive for as smooth a transition as possible. That is to be determined. But again, it's something that can't be controlled, and just if you're one of those people who you're starting to see your company downsizing, or if you get a whiff of anything going on, I highly encourage you to go ahead and get those resumes updated, to get your LinkedIn profiles updated, all your other accounts. You don't have to be actively looking to keep those updated, but it's being proactive, and it's another kind of prepping, honestly. So far, no birds. I'm all over the place. I'm sorry, but I'm tired and I'm sweaty, and it's time to make a protein shake at home. So anyway, we had that downsizing. We got our companies doing the merger thing. Then we had an unfortunate incident where a EMS worker, all we knew yesterday was that a EMS, I want to say van, but a EMS vehicle got turned over, and there was a fatality with one of the paramedics. And today we learned that, as news is coming out about it, that the young lady was 37 years old. There was a patient in the ambulance that has not given details about how that patient's doing, but it's like one of the worst nightmares, because if you've ever been on the receiving end on the back of an ambulance, you know how important those people are and how safe you feel with them helping you with whatever the crisis is, and the other person's driving and they're constant communication with the hospital or incoming or whatever. And to think that that poor girl, young woman rather, who had 9 years vested in what she was doing, and my husband said she was at the fireworks, because they had EMS, fire trucks, law enforcement. They had the whole everything you need for an event to protect people and keep people safe and be there, in the event, God forbid, there is an emergency. So learned today it was a, can't wrap my brain around this, a drunk driver, in the morning. On the path I would have taken to work yesterday, I took a self-care day yesterday. 8 o'clock, and smacked into the car, into the EMS vehicle, turned it over, ejected the young paramedic who was working on the patient, and she succumbed to her injuries. And we're not, obviously, the person who did that, he survived, and he is being held for numerous offenses without bail. It shows you how precious and how fleeting life is, because who would have thought, and we don't know, any of us who were sitting there seeing fireworks this weekend, if that's our last one. And it breaks my heart knowing that was her last one, and she didn't even know it, and now, she's gone through no fault of her own, but through the fault of someone who is highly irresponsible, putting other lives at risk, driving over the speed limit while intoxicated on a interstate at the exact time so many people are trying to go to work. So if I can leave you with one thing as I end this video, and again, I apologize for the delay, the holiday and everything, but if you have something to say to someone today, a kind thing, no bad things. If there's something you've been wanting to tell somebody, how you love them, how you care for them, or maybe something you've not reconciled yet, that in your heart and your core, and it's nagging at you to reconcile that with the other person. Maybe you hurt somebody, maybe you were hurt, maybe it was mutual pain. Whatever it is, it's not too late if you're still living and breathing to let someone know, to apologize if it was you who did something wrong, and if it was somebody who did something wrong to you, even if you don't see them or they were toxic and you need to stay away, forgive from a distance. You don't have to be to a toxic person, to a toxic, it's hard to say fast. You don't have to put yourself in front of a toxic person to apologize or to forgive. You can do that. Apology, maybe, it depends on the situation, but to forgive, sometimes we need to stay away from those people. But we can let go of it. If there's something that's been holding you back, eating at you, gnawing away from you while they're just carrying on with their happy lives and they've not thought a thing about it, and more than likely you're never going to get that apology. Free yourself and forgive. The hardest thing to do is the first statement, because I've been there. And it was a simple prayer. It was like, God, please help so-and-so to have a happy life. And it was like having rusty nails in my mouth when I said that prayer. It was the most difficult prayer that I'd ever prayed. But the thing is that I felt something coming off of me that I've been holding on to. And the more I go, the more I'm able to, from a distance, pray for those who've hurt me in the past and wish for them to have a happy, long life. And for me to have forgiveness. And you wouldn't believe how liberating that is. It takes time. It's not going to be an overnight process. It's not going to be a one and done process if you've been deeply hurt. On the other side of this, things to tell people, when was the last time you told somebody, your husband or even your teenager, before they left the house, that you loved them? If you do every time, that's wonderful. I think letting people know that you care about them and the good things about them, it could be something as simple as, I've noticed this about you, and I really respect that, and I admire that about you, and I just wanted to let you know there's nothing shameful or wrong with that. So be brave. If you have anything you want to say it. And obviously, continue here to pray for that young lady and her family and her colleagues and the patient that was in there. I can't imagine going from one trauma to another, and I pray that that patient is okay physically. Mentally, it's probably going to take a while. So I know this was no particular order or topic of conversation. It was a little bit of catching up on anything, like I would do if I go talking to a friend. And I thank everyone for being here. When I hit 50 subscribers, I was like, wow, that's awesome. And then I looked one day, it was 56. I was like, that's great. In August, it's going to be a year. And that's pretty awesome for a lady who did not know, still does not know everything. Very raw and unedited, obviously. But I thank y'all. I do appreciate you. And that's what I'm saying to everybody out there is thank you. And stay safe, stay happy, stay blessed. Love y'all, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.